All right. Hi guys. My name is Ifeoluwalao, and I am a software engineer. So you've landed your first tech job, right? You're a developer at a new company, maybe a fresh graduate, and you have a computer science degree, and you've landed your first job as a junior developer, right? So now, how the question now becomes, how do you level up from being a junior dev to being a senior, right? So there's a few tips I want to share into this section, um, as to how you can make that happen, right? So number one, you need to master your fundamentals, and what I mean by that is, you don't need to know every framework, you don't need to know every language, right? You just need to know how things work, conditional statements, loops, um, how HTTP works, right? How the browser works, how system works, how servers work, right? You just need to know the fundamentals. You don't need to know because the same way loops work in JavaScript is the same way to also work in PHP. It's the same way to work in Python, for example. You just need to know the fundamentals. The syntax is a different discussion. Fundamentals are key, right? Secondly, you also need to take ownership. So when I say take ownership, I mean, you know, stop waiting around and waiting for people to give you stuff to do. You need to kind of go out there, pick up stuff, and just clear it out, right? Start thinking from a bigger picture, right? Not just so if maybe your manager or your product manager gives you a task, don't just think of that task as just a standalone thing that you need to fix and go. Think of how does that kind of impact every other aspect of the business itself, right? That's how you think like a senior. Um, so that's the second thing that you need to work on, basically. The third thing is you need to also try to mentor other people. So meaning you can kind of see other people who are below you and just kind of give them wisdom. So the more you teach people how to do stuff and kind of guide them in the path, the more you also learn a few things along the way as well, right? So mentoring other people is a key thing to get done in terms of how you want to graduate from being a junior to a senior, right? You need to also improve your communication. So that's the fourth point. You need to improve communication. Um, Understand how going through Slack, having meetings, and talking with your shareholders on updates. All those are very key things that you need to get done, right? You cannot not know how to communicate, right? That's a career killer right there. Even though now there's a stereotype, you kind of feel like, oh, engineers do not communicate and I don't know how to communicate. You cannot be five, right? This is basically a career killer right there, like I said before. So learning how to communicate will kind of give you the a very good understanding of what problem you're solving and how you're supposed to solve it to the best of your abilities, and also to be able to give the user or your customer a very good understanding of what the timeline it to take to solve the problem, and how long it will take you and stuff like that. So that's why communication is key, for how you progress in your career as an engineer, right? And the next point is, think in systems, right? So what do I mean by that? I mean, like I said, don't just think of the bug, right? Think of how that bug affects the business, right? Think of how that bug affects other part of the system. So you may want to think of, oh, if I fix or I write this code in this manner, is it scalable? Is it maintainable? Is it something that would break something somewhere else, right? Those are things you need to put in consideration, right? You cannot be, you cannot be you cannot be thinking in isolation of, oh, I just need to fix this bug and be done with it. No, so that's also something you should do. Think in systems. One final point is sometimes it's all about perception, right? Perspective, basically. So if where you are as a junior dev, you joined as a junior dev. In most companies, you get to find out that they will always see you as a junior. There's nothing you can do about it. This is not you. It's not your skill. No matter how hard you try, they just cannot trust you, right? Most times, especially in my career, how I started, and people around me as well can actually, I know a lot of people who have experienced stuff like this. They never get promoted to senior because the perception of their shareholders are like, this person is always going to be a junior. So most times you would need to kind of step out of your zone and go somewhere else, and that's where you can become a senior, right? Where they never saw you as a junior. Because, like I said, it's all about perception. In some companies, yes, they may look at you and say, oh, you've done so much work, we've seen how you've grown, and we think you're a senior developer at this time. But in 75% of companies, that's not the case. They don't really think they can ever see you as a senior. So the only thing you can do is kind of step out of, under that company's umbrella and kind of go and look for greener pastures somewhere else, right? Um, so that's it. In 2025, this is how I feel like you can become a senior developer, right? And I think seniority isn't a title, by the way. It's a mindset. It's a way of life. You just kind of grow into it gradually, right? It's not something that is given to you, right? So with more responsibilities you take on, the more communication activities you carry into the companies and stuff like that, and how you think will kind of give you the comfort and ease to kind of grow into your role as a senior, kind of get that seniority mindset, right? So that's it. Thank you very much for watching this video, and make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.